evening, race fans. Welcome to the NASCAR Vernors Cup Series Mr. Clean Clash, the season opening event only for pole winners of the previous season. Announcer WesternCaves is on assignment, so filling in for him today here at the WesternCaves Sport Network is Vic Romano alongside my fellow co-anchor Kenny Blankenship. Ken, what do you think about tonight's race? I think it's going to be a great race. I'm really excited to see these cars going really fast. You know, I always wanted to be a race car driver. And I can see why. The adrenaline rush as you drive net in close quarters to all the other drivers. No, I'm just in it for the girls. Why would I expect any differently? Anyway, the starting lineup for today's race. Part-time driver Tib Foster on pole. The only part-time driver last season to win a pole. Would wind up winning his first career race. He's alongside Donald Fagan. Dodges have locked out the top two rows as Alfred Hitchcock lines up next to Telly Savalas, who has won here at this track. Al Roker is going to be moving over to the 6th car in place of Mark Martin. Moving back, I should say. Just like Billy Mays' number changes back to 36. Bob Ross will remain in the 66. And now Denzel Washington will move over to the 25 from the now closed 14 team. Then Jeff Lynn will line up next to Mark Martin, driving for the brand new Martin Morris Motorsports team. Alrighty then, in row 6 is Peter Perfect and Tom Jones. Not much change there. Richard Simmons and Ian Anderson now. Casper the Friendly Ghost, he's going to move over from the 32 into the brand new 84 car as Toyota makes their return to full time. Alongside him will be Kathy Bates, then John Cena and Geddy Lee, Joe Biden and Snoop Dogg. Getting at the back of the grid, Morgan Freeman in the 20, Burt Reynolds in the 2, Tony Stark, he's cutting down to part-time this season from full-time, but he is locked into the races 2 through 5. The West Coast swing, if he even runs them. Alongside him will be Hank Hill, who moved over to the 38, replacing Stephen George. Rounding out the field is going to be Marco Polo back in the 16 and Crow T Robot in the 1. A lot of good drivers in this field. If I had to pick a winner, I'd almost say Tony Stark. He has won points race at the plate track, and he did win his duel here last year. Another shot is Jeff Lynn, who's always been another threat at plate tracks. Now, Kenny, who do you think is going to win? Well, Vic, I've got a feeling that whoever crosses the finish line first is going to be tonight's winner. Indeed. Now, before we introduce the third member of tonight's broadcast, we're going to have to take a moment and listen for the command for the most famous words in motorsports delivered by, well, somebody. We don't know.
Drivers, start your engines!
And that was your command. Now, we hope all 26 drivers get off and rolling. Yes, it does look like that. Let's send it down to our pit reporter, Guy LaDouche. Guy.
Thanks, gentlemen. Tonight's race will be 24 laps.
They should not have to pit at all unless they get into one of them accidents. Tonight's favorites include Snoop Dogg and Morgan Freeman, who have won the past 2 July races here, both driving for the same team, and defending Junior Johnson Daytona 500 winner Ian Anderson, who won the race last year, and Telly Savalas, who won it the year before. In addition, the defending winner of the Clash, Hank Hill, is gonna start in the 24th slot. That's all for me, boys. Thanks, Guy. Donald Fagen nearly won a championship 2 years ago. Another driver. There's Alfred Hitchcock, who missed 4 races. If he had made those 4, theoretically, he could have won the championship. Luckily, there's a new qualifying system in place this year that, aside from the first race of the year, will lock in everybody in the top 35 in owners' points. That should make... We should have less scenarios where a driver is really hurt otherwise. Tom Hanks probably would have won the title, but missed Charlotte a week after winning. Pace car down pit road. Tib Foster will lead us to the green in the Mr. Clean Clash. Already looking pretty good. Couple drivers you see. Denzel Washington trying to make the low line work. This is his first race in the 25. Already 3 wide towards the front of the pack. And looks like... maybe not. Almost looked like Snoop Dogg had problems getting up to speed. But it looks like all 26 drivers have gotten through the first lap with no issues. Donald Fagen actually led that time by at the line on the high side, which is pretty surprising. The inside is usually the fastest way around these restrictor plate races. We should take this moment to mention that this is a non-points event, so pretty much on the line, extra money and bragging rights to the race winner. You can see they're all together in that big pack there. It's not quite a full field, so unsure if we're gonna necessarily see any accidents. However, it is definitely possible. We'll just have to wait and see. Denzel Washington leading at the line. Almost a dead heat. 2 1/1000ths of a second was all that separated him from Donald Fagen. Tib Foster, the pole sitter, back in the 4th spot at the moment. Trying to get some help from Peter Perfect, Donald Fagen's teammate. Peter Perfect's pretty much been the most consistent driver in points the last 2 seasons. Finishing in the top 10, I believe, both seasons. Actually, probably the top 5. As you can see, he's making a move there on Tib Foster. Now, Ian Anderson had a very disappointing season last year after winning the season opening race, finishing last in points of all the full-time drivers. A little jostling towards the back. Hank Hill slightly off the back, but doesn't appear to be having a whole lot of trouble. Now teammates side by side for the race lead as Donald Fagan gets that lap led. But here comes Peter Perfect. Now Ian Anderson is looking to the race lead with a push from Kathy Bates. Bates never has won a cup race here on the super speedways, but did win a Melling Series race in 2018 at Talladega. However, that was with far superior equipment to the series regulars, so she really was only battling the Cup Series regulars who were dropping down. Now Kathy Bates is leading now. John Cena, he had a really quiet 2019. Despite moving what was assumed to be a powerhouse team, he finished down in 27th in points with 0 wins. Somewhat of a disappointment considering the lofty expectations. 4 wide now towards the front of the pack. That's not the safest thing to do here. And oh! A hard lick, and over on his side is the 88 and the 19. Several cars involved. Caution is going to come out. That calls for a NASCAR Impact replay. You see what? Now see. We look. Here's the problem. The 9 hooks the 84 into the 88. If they hadn't done that, they'd be fine. Right you are, Ken. And as you can see, several drivers all smashed. Cars all smashed up as a result. And Mark Martin has now taken the race lead because of this. This is going to have a lot of interesting ramifications, as you might have some smashed up cars who decide to stay out. That could cause some undamaged cars who might have gotten shuffled back, or not less damaged cars, to get caught out, so to speak. Visible damage as far back as 12th place Donald Fagan. Really interesting. We'll see if anybody peels down pit road as a result. Looks like Donald Fagan coming down, as well as Tully Savalas, Ian Anderson, a few others. It's like Snoop Dogg, Billy, Casper the Ghost, Richard Simmons, Al Roker, Joe Biden, Alfred Hitchcock, and Peter Perfect. All other drivers like Crow T Robot, Jeff Lynne, Bob Ross, and Billy Mays do indeed stay out on the racing surface. Now we want to take you back to that accident one more time. See several drivers taking that long, hard look. Or long, hard... Okay, the crash did happen after the trial. We weren't sure. Already listed as out of the race are a few drivers. Alfred Hitchcock and Peter Perfect have retired from the event. Still sitting on pit road is the 88. Everybody else looks like they will remain on the lead lap. Joe Biden is without his hood even. Whoa. A little bump from the 92 to the 3. Telly Savalas might not be happy with Richard Simmons. I'm not sure what prompted that. I wonder if he felt like Richard Simmons had a factor in the incident or something. That remains to be seen. Anyway, now would be a pretty good time for a field recap. We should be going green with about 13 laps to go in this event. Mark Martin, your current race leader, leading Tony Stark. Those two cars, along with the 40, are all part-time cars. Your highest running full-time driver is Morgan Freeman. Then Tom Jones and Marco Polo. Geddy Lee's running in the 6th spot. Now that's a very interesting case, considering I don't think this team has won a plate race in the last 2 years. Let me do some mental math. No, they haven't. No, wait, no, they did. Last year at Talladega, the most recent plate race, he was the winner. Kid Foster 7th, John Cena 8th, Denzel Washington 9th. So the 3 hat-trick motorsports cars that did make the race are running pretty good. Hank Hill in 10th, right behind his old car with 25. Burt Reynolds in 11th. Crow in 12th. Jeff Lynne 13th. Bob Ross 14th. Billy Mays 15th. Joe Biden 16th. Donald Fagen 17th. Richard Simmons 18th. Telly Savalas 19th. And Al Roker 20th. Snoop Dogg's 21st. Casper the Ghost is 22nd. Ian Anderson 23rd. The last car running out of the race right now. Alfred Hitchcock, Peter Perfect, and Kathy Bates. 10 laps complete. One more lap until we go green. Once more here. Mark Martin is one of only 2 drivers in the field to win this event, doing so in 1999. The other, Hank Hill, that was the winner last year, and he runs in 10th. Tony Stark, also a dual winner up here. As we get ready to green. We just want to remind you that also coming up in the field day should be the dual races. Walter White is the other winner of the dual race, doing so last year there were no duels in 2018. Walter White, of course, not in this race. The only car to DNF in the duels last year was John Cena, but he still made the 500, I believe. Green flag is out, and we're back racing with 13 laps to go. See a lot of the drivers towards the back. You can see them jumping down a lane. The ones who are not are I would assume, are the really slow ones. They should be filtered out really quickly, allowing the best drivers around a chance to fight for the victory. Mark Martin, still your race leader. Going for the block. Morgan Freeman. Martin still leading, going into the corner. Now, as you can see, they're 4 wide. That did not work well last time. Hopefully they'll back out of it. Looks like a little bit of banging. Burt Reynolds and Tib Foster in close quarters. Foster is nearly clear of Reynolds, but Reynolds just decided to muscle by. I'm not sure that was a smart thing to do. Maybe now we'll be clear. No, not quite. Couple cars into the wall. Getty Lee's into the wall. So is Morgan Freeman. That should slow him up. Good news is we got rid of the 4 wide situation. Bad news is we might have a few more drivers lose the draft. Doesn't look like really any of these drivers who have lost the draft would be keeping up with it anyways. Burt Reynolds looks like he bounced in the wall, and now here comes Tim Foster back to the front. Through all of this, Bob Ross has taken the race lead, but here comes John Cena. Looks like 11 cars in the front. No, 12 at the moment. A mini pack of 5 now trying to catch them. Well, 3 and 2. If you look at the back of the pack, it doesn't look like they're gaining on the back of the field at a fast enough rate for them to become a factor. Now, to the race lead, this time by John Cena's a little bit... is now going... he's now your leader. He did not lead at the line, though. This time it looks like he will. Unless Bob Ross can get a big run off the corner here. It's going to be tight at the line. I think it was Bob Ross. Indeed, they give it to him on literally a dead heat. All I know is this is going to make the finish of this race really interesting. ...15 cars certainly up in this pack. An additional 2 trying to hang with him. Donald Fagan and Richard Simmons are struggling. Those are the 2 that fought for the championship 2 years ago. Once again at the line, neck and neck. That time it was John Cena. Hank Hill trying to RG barge his way in here. So you can see I believe the 3 lost ground on the 19, but the 19 gained ground on the rest of the field. It should be interesting. Side by side at the line once again, the 24 and 66. Big problems in the back. No caution. Unbelievable. And that's going to fracture the pack and really take a lot of these drivers out of contention for the victory. That's going to call for another MXC Impact replay. I don't know what happened. I think Billy Mays and Jeff Lynn just got together. That knocks Lynn into Denzel Washington and Mark Martin. That just slows the pack right up. Now it looks like a 7-car race for victory here at the front between 4 Fords, 2 Chevys, and a Pontiac. Well, look at the run some of these guys are getting. It's possible, but they might just be out of time. Unless these drivers are going so slow, they might actually be caught by the field. 4 laps to go. Marco Polo is your race leader. He has never won a cup race in his career. He's never actually won any race. He went winless his year in Melling despite winning the championship that year. Now he's on the verge of greatness. Three laps to go. Now he makes a daring, bold move going down the racetrack. But he's going to get held up a bit by the slow cars of Joe Biden and Telly Savalas. And that could really allow these drivers to close in and have a shot at victory. I don't know, because look at them. They're blocking Tony Stark a little bit. If they can't get Stark can't get around, well, now he seems like he can get around. But these guys might have trouble getting around. Look at this! They're boxing in the two. That's a teammate. What are you doing? Joe Biden clearly upset with his own teammate about something. It's just cost them a chance at victory. For him or anybody else in this pack for that matter. Coming to the white flag, it is now Bob Ross leading. Billy Mays in second. These drivers might come into a factor off of turn 4. Al Roker and Ian Anderson. Each driver having a teammate up here. But looks like nobody can catch Bob Ross at the moment. Here comes Tony Stark and John Cena flying. Tim Foster's trying to get into it. Doesn't look like they'll be a factor. Bob Ross leading by a few car lengths coming off of turn 4. And Bob Ross will win the Mr. Clean Clash and take the victory. See? Now they're going to catch him. Controversy at the end of this one, but Bob Ross will edge out Crow T Robot, Marco Polo, Billy Mays, and Hank Hill. John Cena will bring it home 6th, Tony Stark 7th, Tim Foster 8th, Burt Reynolds 9th, Morgan Freeman 10th, and Tom Jones 11th, Richard Simmons 12th, Donald Fagen 13th, Jeff Lynne 14th, Geddy Lee 15th. There are your official results. The rest of the field, you see Denzel Washington was able to beat Mark Martin. Snoop Dogg got around, was in front of Casper the Friendly Ghost, and then Al Roker was in front of Ian Anderson. Joe Biden and Telly Savalas finished a lap down, and Alfred Hitchcock, Peter Perfect, and Kathy Bates were out of the race. Well, an exciting race with a controversial finish. Bob Ross is your winner. The WesternCaves Sports Network will see you in a few days for the dual races. That should be entertaining. For Guy LaDouche, I've been Vic Romano. And I've been Kenny Blankenship. We hope you enjoy. Have a good day.